Hi, I'm Aaron Marcus, and welcome back to the Acting and Modeling Success Summit. We have Brian Dragonuk with us, and we're going to be talking with him. He's a really very interesting guy who's done a lot of different things in the industry that you're going to want to know about and learn from him as well. So Brian, he's a full-time actor and a model, a TV show host, and a radio personality. Brian's website is called DragonukConnects.com. And just to make sure you know the spelling, it's like dragon in the UK. So it's DRAGONUK, connects.com. And it's a professional networking community. And it covers the entire entertainment industry, primarily in the mid-Atlantic part of the US. And he has assisted independent filmmakers identify their needs and find the resources needed to create quality projects in over 100 local feature and also in short films, as well as many other aspects of the industry with modeling as well. So Brian, thank you so much for being a part of the summit today.
You're welcome, Aaron.
So Brian, one of the things that you have done is you have made a career out of being an actor, a commercial model. Certainly you're not trying to go after the fashion market. So would you
I'm a
tell
plus
people,
size
well, I don't know that you have the height for
or
it,
a
or maybe you
plus
do,
plus.
or plus plus. But you know, the thing is, look, you worked in the private sector for a number of years, and then you decided that you wanted to pursue the acting and commercial modeling. And I'm going to talk about the marketing end of things first, but you know, as somebody who, let's say, is either just getting started or somebody maybe who's been in the industry for a little while, but they feel like they want to get more work. They're not getting as much action as they would like. What would you recommend that they do?
Well, they have to evaluate their career goals. Okay. Um, the very first year that I was in the industry, uh, I made the decision to try to do as many different things so no matter what's going on in the industry, I can find work. So there are people that only want to do feature films. There are people that only want to watch or do TV series. Um, I want to do everything. And if there's no films going on, I'll do a TV commercial. I'll do an industrial. I'll pick up a print job. Um, there's live.
Excuse me one second, Brian. Hey, would you just explain to everybody print job means exactly what?
Oh,
Like a
that's
commercial
your
modeling.
yeah. That's the commercial modeling. Your newspaper ads or magazine ads,
Or even billboards and
billboards,
posters. Yeah, ads on the side of a
posters.
bus. Sure.
Yeah,
And then
any of that.
when you mentioned industrials, I just want to make sure
Training
everybody
video.
knows.
I'm sorry, training videos. Company is going to put out a new piece of software. They do a training video to let people know the new features. Okay,
Right.
so it's not broadcast anyplace. It's not shown in a theater. It comes on a DVD with a new product, or you log into a company's website, or if it's a factory, they might show it to new hires, a safety video, something like that. Federal government does a lot of them for all of the agriculture department, etc., etc. They all do training videos.
And actually, I remember doing one. I mean, I've done a lot of things, a lot of training films for the government. One in particular that's standing out as you're talking about that was for the United States Navy. And then basically I was teaching people how to build diesel engines. Which
Right.
those are always interesting. But and sometimes you actually can see some of these training films in Publix. You know, like if you go to a large box store and there might be a new product that cleans your floor, and there might be a person who is showing how to use the product and how well it works. And it's not a TV commercial, but it's just being used in the store itself, you know, next to the product also. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew exactly what industrial films were.
Right. Okay. Um, I also do a lot of live practical training. Any teaching hospital, they hire actors to play patients to train and evaluate the medical students. They law schools, some of them also do that. They put on mock trials. Um, there's also a lot of it in the police academies across the country. They'll hire actors to play victims, to play witnesses, to even play bad guys, all at their training academies in order to give the students going through a live subject to practice on. But as part of the training, they're also evaluated on how well they take the book learning that they did and apply it to a practical situation.
And
So
then and then they're also, even for the FBI, could be Secret Service. They
FBI,
also,
Secret Service, I've worked for both of those. Both of their academies are local to the DC area. There is a national federal law training center in Georgia that all of the police departments throughout the federal government do part of their training, but each branch has their own academy someplace to do further training on the things that they specialize in. Okay, so it's no good to teach the FBI agents or a university police department how to protect the president. They do that here in the Secret Service Training Academy in Beltsville.
and so how exactly does that work? So they will pay actors to basically be role players, correct?
That's correct.
And I'm just so people have like a general idea, how much money can people make doing that?
Well, it depends. There's highs and lows, like in anything, but uh, right here in this area, the hospitals mostly pay $17 an hour. So on an 8-hour day, you're looking at just under 100 and a half for working there. So it's not as good as a speaking part in a um, TV commercial, but it's good, solid, paid work. It is speaking parts. You do have to apply all of your acting skills to it. You have to create a backstory because the students, when they're interviewing you, they can ask you anything, and you have to answer them in character properly. Okay, so we have scripts, but the scripts only cover what we're trying to teach. They could ask anything else, and you have to immediately give them an answer in character. And you know so your improv skills, you're creating your character, you're creating your backstory. This is practice to keep your skills honed for your theater jobs or your film and video jobs.
And it seems like a much better way of making money than, just waiting tables and things like that, because I'm also assuming that you make connections with these people and maybe they need to put together a film, not just have something live. But I mean, I know for you, I mean, you were talking about these are like regular gigs sometimes.
Um, in our area, the DC area, Baltimore, Washington area, there are 9 hospitals that hire SPs.
I'm sorry,
On the
SPs are.
standardized patients, the live practical training. Um, Police academies, almost all of the federal agencies have an academy someplace in the Washington area. Okay, Secret Service, FBI, uh, Forest Rangers, the
Would,
postal
would
police.
CIA have?
CIA has a place as well. Um, DEA has a place, etc. They all, at some point in time, have um, done hired actors to do things. Did a job for a while for the State Department. They have diplomatic security. They train diplomats and their families and anybody working for an embassy how to not be a terrorist target. So what we did was we practiced kidnapping these people off of the streets in the greater Washington area. Um, so they're just out and about and they have to be aware of their surroundings, and we're sitting out there watching them and following them and trying to kidnap them.
And so, do you know, are there other agencies in other parts of the United States where they do hire actors for this work? I mean, I'm assuming there are
Um,
a lot of law schools that would offer this, and I'm assuming there are a number of hospitals around. Do you know if
pretty
there are many
much
other?
pretty much any teaching hospital is working on a program somehow. Either they're developing their own program or they are tying in with somebody else um, to provide this type of a service. The police academies, um, I have done a lot of work for various Virginia academies because they do the training that way and they hire outside actors. In Maryland, they still do the training, but they try to get county employees, state employees to do it instead of actors.
So, in other parts of the country, how would you recommend somebody do some research to see if there is something in their particular area for this work?
Well, I would do a search for the police departments for their training academy and then either email or call and see how they do the training. Um, uh, there's a 17 jurisdiction joint training academy in Virginia that I have worked for. It is correctional officers, it is city and county officers, it's sheriff departments, it's regular police departments, it's transit departments that are all training under a joint academy.
Got
All
it.
right.
Now,
So
oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I mean, aside from role playing, which really, as you were saying, I mean, it just gives you such real experience with improv, and developing characters. But let's say if somebody was more interested in, let's say, commercial modeling or film work or TV, and they're living, in many places. It could be, throughout the U.S. Or elsewhere. I know that sometimes you have suggested, to people to check out different groups that might be in their area that might post information about auditions or jobs.
pretty well every state has someplace a film commission, film department. Um, they would have some basic information about what's going on in their state. Um, they are usually located in wherever the state has most of their business development departments and whatever. There's a desk someplace with that title. All right, they can let you know what's going on in the states. You can check. There's an organization called Women in Film and Video. Men are allowed to join as well. It's a international organization. They have branch offices throughout the states. They're more of a hands-on organization that could give you some good ideas as to what's happening locally for films, for videos, commercials, industrials.
And just to kind
Um,
of jump in for a second, and first, I really like the organization. I am a member as well. And one of the things, and I don't know if this happens in every single city where they have them, but actually, I think it's an international company as well, or not company, organization, but they will
Organization.
have meetings and then they will have, like networking times where you can walk around, you can introduce yourself, you'll talk to a producer, you'll talk to a camera person, a screenwriter, other actors, and and then sometimes they'll have a guest speaker. It's an incredible organization to get involved with.
Yeah,
But
I was on the board of directors for the Maryland branch. Well, it was 2002, so that's a little while ago. And usually they would have some kind of a job section on their website, or there's a place to put your email to be emailed out jobs. That seems to be pretty well through the country. There's organizations uh, for casting directors. There's a National Association of Talent Managers. Their memberships are part of the websites, so you can go there and take a look at their membership and find a talent agent that's in your uh, state. Um, so there's a lot of different ways to find local work. I did a Google search on film and video in Maryland, and there was a fairly large listing of things that popped up. So
actually, Brian, excuse me, I'm just going to jump in. Would you also recommend seeing if there are any Yahoo groups or meetup groups that deal with actors and models in somebody's particular area as a way of trying to get on a listserv and find out about jobs and auditions?
yeah, there's for our area, there's quite a few Yahoo groups out there, and there's quite a few of the meetups as well. I don't know how broad that is through the country right now. When I started out, I had Yahoo groups instead of Dragonuk Connects, and Yahoo groups was fairly prevalent throughout the country. As a matter of fact, I had a list of some 100 of them that if I had something that was national in scope, I would send out to as many of them as I could. Um, they they seem to be waning a little bit as people are able to do their own websites, and as more groups um, uh, become more self-sufficient with websites, but they are still out there.
So if somebody was interested, if somebody's living in Indiana and they're thinking, well, I wonder if there's a Yahoo group that deals with actors, models, producers, directors in my area, would they just go to,
It's
Yahoo and then,
yahoogroups.com. That brings up a page where you can put a search in and put your state, put your city, and see what comes, and actors or modeling or whatever. The problem with their search is if you put modeling in, you're going to get modeling like what we do, and you're going to get somebody that builds small cars for Detroit and somebody that makes replicas of ships. That's all going to be mixed in together because modeling is modeling to different industries.
Yeah, so sometimes putting in commercial modeling can actually,
Commercial modeling
yeah,
would
help narrow it down a little bit.
narrow it down. Putting in acting would do it as well.
And you can do that with Google also, and just
Yeah.
be prepared. You might get, some things that are really outside the area, but you spend a little bit, of time, and that can really help you find some listservs in the area, organizations that, send information out, to you on a daily basis, which is something that you guys do. But Brian, let
The
me do this
key,
because I'm sorry, I was just going to say we've got like a bunch of questions that have come in, and I want to make sure we get the questions, and then I want to give out more information about Dragonuk Connects so people can learn more about how to get information about auditions and jobs through you as well. This is a question. It's from Jesse in New Jersey, who wants to know, how do I know if a job is really legit?
you know, that is probably the hardest of things to look at. Um, First of all, in our industry, there's no upfront fees. So if anyone is asking you to buy something, send them money, it's probably not legit. Okay, first and foremost. Um, if they want you to buy things from them, take their classes, redo your headshot from their in-house photographer in order to look at you as a potential employee, it is probably not legit.
We just,
Uh,
hey, Brian, just so I can jump in for a second. I mean, there are, I mean, I agree. There are some agencies that I know who will say, hey, look, we're going to have a great, photographer come in town. If you need new headshots, you need some composite sheets, these would be, this is a great person to shoot with. But where I agree
that's
100%
different
is
from requiring you to
exactly
do something with their person. They
right.
they can make recommendations. They can tell you that you need new headshots or you need to be better trained. Okay, um, they can make suggestions as to who they like, that's local and high quality, and they can send you there. Most of them will have a list of more than one place, but they can't require you to spend your money in their place.
Right, in order for representation. But
Right.
what I was talking about as far as whether it's a legitimate job, not so much about an agent, but
Yeah,
because
but
sometimes people will hear about jobs and they're thinking, well, is this photographer for real? How do I really know if it's a real job or not, or some kook?
that's what I'm saying. It's very hard to determine that. Um, you know, you have to do some due diligence. If it's a photographer hiring for a commercial print job, okay, um, do a search on the photographer's name, the photographer's company. You do a Google search on some companies, you will see person after person someplace calling them a scam artist or a fraud. All right. So, no. Um, you, um,
Well, I can tell you a couple of things that I would also just suggest real quickly, and I do want to try to get to some of the other questions, but and like you were saying, check out the person's website, look at their photos. I mean, do they look like real ads or do they look like something that's scaring you to death? And without a doubt, and I'm just talking about with commercial modeling, if it is a commercial modeling ad, and you're booking this on your own, you're not going through an agent because maybe you don't have an agent at this point, bring somebody with you whether it's
Yeah.
to the set or wherever the location is. And if the photographer is having any problem with somebody else being there, it's time to leave, because really you do have to be very careful out there today.
Yes.
Um, this is from Michelle in Pennsylvania. She wants to know how I can get the audition and job information from your website.
You go to www.dragonukconnects.com and you sign up. Uh,
That's pretty easy.
that's it. You sign up, you get the daily newsletter. You complete the profile, put your headshot resume in, put your uh, sizes for your wardrobe and everything in. We have special notices that we send out that are only going to people that are blonde hair, blue eyed females that are this high, etc., because that's the employer's requirement. If you filled out the profile and filled it out accurately, you will get these special job notices. They're usually the higher paying jobs, but everybody is going to get the newsletter that signs up.
And also just be prepared. You're going to get tons of emails on a regular basis. Sometimes daily, you get multiple news, information about auditions, go-sees, jobs, and really, I mean, and the reason why I'm talking with Brian right now because he just does an amazing job with sending out information. I'm going to try to squeeze one in, and we have to do this kind of quickly. We're running out of time. This is from Cal in Fort Lauderdale. He wants to know if he can market himself and try to get work on his own if he has an agent.
It depends on the contract that you signed with the agent, if there is a contract. If there's no contract, you're free to market yourself. If you signed an exclusive contract, that means that every job that you get, whether it's through the agent or on your own, you still have to pay the agent their commission. Now, some people, some agents want you to restrict your own marketing because it would interfere with their marketing efforts on your behalf. Others don't care as long as you send the job notice through their office so that they can bill you for their commission on your work.
Yeah, and you know what? Even if you're doing all the work on your own, and you do have an exclusive contract with the agent, certainly then you would have to do it. But even if you don't have an exclusive contract with your agent and you are allowed to freelance and get work on your own, in many respects, it's still better to send it through your agent because number one, even though you are going to be giving up a percentage because you're sending it through your agent, but your agent is going to know what to charge, which you might not, especially if it's in certain categories like billboards, posters, high exposure formats, where you might get a bonus on top of your regular fee. And the other thing too is what you're doing is you are letting your agent know that you're marketable, that you are going to make money for this agent, which means the agent will help promote you even more. So if you are in a situation where you can market yourself, great, and I highly recommend that you do that. Certainly you don't want to break any rules with your agent, but in many ways it's still better to send it through your agent.
I'll agree with that.
Hey, Brian, I'm going to have to wrap things up here, but first of all, I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and also for all the service that you do for just the thousands and thousands of actors and models that you've helped in the industry. And just wanted to ask you just to say it again, for people who do want to become a part of your listserv and get onto your website, would you just give out the address again?
Yeah, it's www.dragonucconnects.com, and it is dragon, just like the fire-breathing kind, Dragon, with UK at the end. So a dragon from the United Kingdom.
.com. Brian, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being a part of the summit. We're going to take a couple of minutes of a break here. As always, if you have any additional questions, you can send them in, and also I will be sticking around after the end of the day and continuing to go through all the questions. Okay, thank you so much again, Brian, and see you guys in a couple of minutes.
You're welcome, Aaron.